and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here to present another tea that you may be considering, you may be in the market for, or this may be a new tea for you. Either way, we're going to look at it together. It's a Chinese green tea. Because I've got a fairly small size here, I'm going to just use my fingers and use my 4-ounce Gaiwan bowl here. And I'm going to just kind of pinch out enough to cover that bottom 1.5 inch base. I'm going to just kind of tap a little, rake a little bit into there too. That looks good. I'm noticing smaller portions of leaf section here, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment, but I'm going to point that out now, remind myself hopefully to talk about it a little bit more later. Just a little pinch more. That looks good. Put the lid back on for just a moment as I add my water. Water's been brought to a very low boil with a Chinese green like that, and since it's been cooling for a little bit, about a minute now, a Chinese green like this, good water temperature for that, not too hot, not too cold. You still want enough heat to really kind of test this, push it to its limits. Lower water temperatures are generally more forgiving and can mask some of the weaknesses of a tea. So you want a little bit warm, but not. But I generally don't go up to a boil. Okay. So talking about this tea and introducing this tea. This is a sample size. This is a Dragonwell tea from DavidsTea. DavidsTea is a Canadian company. They're online, and I believe they have some retail locations in Canada as well. You can find 50 grams available for $10, and that appears to be $10 Canadian or $10 US. Information on the product page says that this is from the West Lake region, West Lake of Hangzhou in China, being the traditional home source of Dragonwell teas, or Longjing teas. You may know it as Longjing or Longqing. So let me look at this tea and talk about its dry leaf, its wet leaf, and its liquor. So as I smell here for just a moment, Dragonwells are characteristically known, and especially the better ones are known, for having this almost, some describe it as nutty. Nutty can be often what comes out with more heat. Above that, gentler, lighter notes almost are toasted rice up to a dried rice, pre-cooked rice grain. So those are some of the smells as far as this one goes. This one's in that kind of lightly toasted cashew to toasted rice kind of note there. So there is some of that characteristic rice nutty type smell coming off. Along with that, there is a gentle sweetness there, a light, almost asparagus type of sweetness there as well, or asparagus, yeah, nice kind of creamed asparagus type. Think of cream asparagus soup. That kind of concept is there. I'm going to pinch out a few of these leaves. Dragonwells generally have, or often are pan-fried, so that they have they're flat. They have a grasshopper wing kind of shape is one of the terms that can be used. Sometimes it's even more than one leaf. It's a bud with the very first two leaves that have folded off the side. So you've got a leaf in the center, and you've got two off to the side, very close together. If this middle part's the bud with the newest leaf waiting to open up. It can have kind of a sparrow tongue kind of shape. This particular one, it is flat. Like I mentioned before, I'm getting examples, and this could be because it's a sample, but I'm not getting a lot of solid, fully intact leaves. Colors can range from a pale light, especially the younger, earlier harvest is a very pale green, over towards a more darker green as it gets later into the harvest. This one's getting a little bit towards a darker, so this one may have been harvested a little bit later, not that most immediate, very first flush of the leaf, or first harvest of the leaf, I should say. Darker colors, ends that look like they've been clipped or trimmed with a straight edge, with a tool, either a hand tool or a machine, so that you have clean cuts coming off there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pour this and talk a little bit about this wet leaf. I'll give it a pour here. Tilting my lid over to the side a little bit allows me to give me a gap in my guy one there. It allows me to hopefully get a smooth pour, looking pretty good. Liquor's a darker color than some of the others I've looked at. Let's go ahead and set that there and talk a little bit about this wet leaf. Aromas here, I'm getting kind of like a cooked green bean. I'm getting a little bit of that kind of creamy spinach, cream, asparagus smell, and that's more off of the lid. And you stick your nose down into the leaves themselves. I'm also getting kind of a cooked lima bean type of smell. So there's more heat notes, again, evident there. Let me scrape off some of these portions and kind of look at what we have, what I can pull out here. Leaf portions have opened up quite a bit, so that I do have nearly full leaves, but they're portions of leaves for the most part. Okay, that's an example there. Let me pull out a couple of others here. Here's a tip there, leaves that are still not quite fully opened up, flattened out yet. So there is some of that tippy aspect, or early, very young leaves. Pulling out other leaves here, a larger portion of a leaf here. By itself, already half an inch or so in length. 3/4 maybe. No, let's say. Yeah, about half. Well, 3/4. No, I should say 3/4 in length, half an inch in width there. Again, some browning or oxidation taking place along where that was cut, along the cut edges there. I also found several little pieces of branch or base, or I should say stem, that comes from just underneath the bottom end of the leaf, where it connects to the branch of the plant. So there is some of that as well. Generally, you look for more leaf, less of that stemmy aspect, but there is some of that there, which is going to affect the flavor components there, the flavor profile. Moving on then, having a look at this liquor, as I mentioned already, it does have a darker, it's not darker than some others, I'll say it that way. It's a darker yellow, more of a golden type color. Like I said, an earlier, more gentler Dragonwell can have a paler look to it, paler yellow. This one's got a rich, bright color to it. It is, like I said, it is bright. It doesn't look dull or flat. It's got good clarity to it. As I pour a little bit of this. Smells, aromas I'm getting off of this so far, I am getting some of that, little bit of that green bean, subtle, faint lima bean type smell. Still some of the vegetable type sweetness. Again, lighter, like a light sweet spinach type of smell coming off. But I'm going to give it a taste here. The pros and cons of a Dragonwell like this is that a later harvest, larger leaves, more mature leaves, often gets you more intense, more pronounced flavors and aromas. That's the case with this one. You do have more of a, again, kind of a nutty type of component there. Toasted cashew type nut. You also get a little bit of a green bean component in there as well. Again, it's a fairly fresh, sweet type of green bean. Texture-wise, you do have I would say a medium light brothiness to it. So it's not flat, minerally dull by any means. It's got more astringency than, say, one of the earlier, paler, gentler harvest, or smaller, fresher, younger leaves, I should say. So it's got a little bit of a light astringency to it. Bitterness, not really. Bitterness is quite low, so indicating there's still some quality here. It's not overly harsh in that sense. Aftertastes are building up. I'm getting some sweetness there, and it is more of a, like I said, a sweet pea, fresh sweet green bean. There's a nice sweetness there. It's fairly rounded, moderate level of intensity, but it's got a good duration. It's still going on. It's still resting back there, and still seems to. It hasn't dissipated quite a bit, so it's got a good amplification there right now. So when I look at this tea as a whole, I'm talking about it's not the youngest. It's not the youngest leaf. It's more pronounced, a little bit bolder in its character. Leaf shape not the most traditional as far as shape and size, and even it could get a little bit lighter in color. So I would give this tea a 90. But again, something that you'd want to consider if you are looking for something a little bit bolder, a little bit thicker, a little bit meatier, and less nuanced. So come back to Walker Tea Review to find that right mix for you for boldness, nuance, and in between.